Hello and welcome everyone to Becoming a Money Magnet. When I thought about creating this program, I thought, wow, I need to come up with some new things for you. So I've mixed up the old with the new, and I've got some new, fresh content, things that I learned from being fortunate enough to be, founded by Mr. Tom Murphy, who managed people like Dennis Waitley and best friends with Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Brian Tracy, Zig Ziglar, just to name a few. So I got really lucky to hang out with these wonderful, wonderful mentors, and they changed my life forever. And I want to share with you some of the things they shared with me and the things that I've learned and created and mastered in my career and in my growth. So enough about this. First of all, you guys, if you want to find out about me, you know where to go. Just go to my website. I'm not going to take time away from us telling my story. So I'm going to just go right into it. First, the key, what is financial power? Well, financial power is, the equation for financial power is simple. Just combine direction, motivation, and confidence. I really believe that you got to have all these to make it happen. And people don't realize that there is a way to do this, and there is a way to become better. And it's all about self-development. As I tell everyone, I became a student at the age of 19 and a half. When I was growing up, I didn't speak English and I didn't pay attention because I couldn't understand what they were saying. So, I didn't really focus on school. I did focus on music and sports and things like that. However, school was not one of them, but I did focus once I met Mr. Murphy and all these people and many, many more that I don't even have time to mention. So remember, the equation for financial power is simple. Combine direction, motivation, meaning you engage yourself, compel yourself, and dive into it 100%. And you got to have confidence. And you don't have to have 100% confidence. You have to have a starting degree of confidence to be successful. When I met my mentor, he said, son, you've lost your confidence. I says, I know. He says, well, you need to have some confidence to be successful, not like cocky or arrogant. He said, just a little bit, right? Remember Zig Ziglar would do prime the pump. And he says, in a water pump, you need to put a little bit in the front, right? To get the pump to go. Remember, to get the water up from the pump, and you put a little water. I remember carrying that pump 50 cities a year for him because it was so heavy, and that was a real pump. And so you got to put a little bit here and prime the pump to get the pump going. That's what we're talking about today. Becoming that person that draws success. So success leaves clues. 74% of millionaires in America are made up as entrepreneurs, which is really something to me. It's very important that you develop the mindset. The mindset is what you have to develop, because most people don't understand that you've got to become, as I say, a beer container, like this wonderful lady. If you want your life to be more rewarding, you have to change the way you think. Oprah Winfrey. And she is an amazing woman, right? So she knows what she's talking about, and she overcame all kinds of obstacles to get to where she is and become who she is. How about these folks? You don't need to have a 100-person company to develop an idea. Google. Now, these guys are amazing. And how about this gentleman, Richard Branson? A business has to evolve. It has to be fun, and it has exercise and your creative instincts. For me, I believe, I've spoken with Richard many of times in Australia, and I got to meet him when he was starting out in LA. And I think that he's really got it down because he's able to balance his life with success, and he does a great job of it. One of the things I found really interesting when I met him, he doesn't have a laptop. All he has is a phone. He has no laptop, which I thought, how do he uses his phone. That's it. No laptop. It works though, right? Obviously, right? And then, of course, focus on being productive instead of, time. So I like what this gentleman says. I've spoken with him many a times, and it says the 4-hour work week. I don't know if you can actually do a 4-hour work week, but I can't. But I get the message. The message is escape from 95, live anywhere, join the new rich. And that means being able to focus on being productive on your business. And I've learned to be more scaled and more, I call it scrubbing my time management. So what I do is I take 1 week out of every month and I scrub it. I scrub it and I look at things where I can save time, where I can do 2 things at once, or I can eliminate activities that are not necessary. So again, that's what I do. I scrub my week. I look at unnecessary activity. I look at things that I can do better, like 2 things at once. Like when I work out, I listen to audios, or I'll open up my mail, things like that. And I like to do things very productive. Also, make sure your people, if you do have a staff, are being productive. Make sure that you've got people, whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 100 people, make sure that they're being productive. So it's very important, which will be another thing that I'll do for you guys, another Zoom, that you train your people properly so they know exactly what you want and how you want it and who's going to do what, when, how much, and how fast. It's very important. Who's going to do what, when, how much, and how fast. I told you what average entrepreneurs say. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with it? What's wrong with them? That's not the conversation you need in your head. The conversation is who's going to do what, when, how much, and how fast. Very important. So success is not the result of making money. Making money is the result of success, and success is in direct proportion to the service you render. Success is not the result of making money. Making money is the result of success, and success is in direct proportion of the service you render. Success is in the moment. You got to make every moment count. Very important. So I want you to realize that this is something I put together from all my mentors. You know, success is not the result of making money. Making money is a result of success, and success is in direct proportion of the service you render. I want you to realize that every moment, every choice you make counts. Every moment, every choice you make is either moving you towards or away from your goals, moving you towards success or away from success. So you want to make sure that you make more better choices. Let me say that again. You want to make sure that you make more better choices. So first thing is you got to be fired up. Everybody hear me say this all over and over again. Got to be fired up. People don't buy from dead people. If you're not excited about what you do, you're in trouble. When 2 people meet, the person that has the most energy, the most congruency about what they're doing will take over the conversation. But what you need to realize, you take over the conversation by asking questions. Asking questions. Next, 4 success skills. I'm going to go quick. Self-belief, specialized knowledge, tools and systems, taking action. So let's talk about this. Self-belief. Like I told you before, my mentor says, Omar, you need to have some degree of confidence. If you don't believe when you get up in the morning, you should do a little measure. I wake up every morning, I pray. I start with gratitude. I'm grateful for everything I have. I am, good or bad, right? I'm also grateful for my children, my family, my community, meaning you guys, the people I work with. And I really am grateful because you guys keep me going. My kids keep me going and you guys keep me going. I love what I do. Can you tell? I really love what I do. I really love sharing the knowledge that I've been blessed to be given from all these great people and the things I've learned and created from my 25 best-selling books, 44 audios, etc., and videos. So self-belief, believing in yourself, you got to have some degree of belief that you can do it, or you're self-sabotaging yourself. So remember, what you focus on expands. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Always focus on what you want, not what you don't want. Because if you focus on what you want, you're going to get more of what you want. So my question is, what are you wanting? That's a very important question. You should ask yourself every day, what am I wanting from today? You know, Jim Rohn used to say, you must learn to take from the day, don't go through the day. And he really explained it to me. I wish I had time. And it took him 3 hours how to explain it. You need to take from the day, don't go through the day. And he said, design your life, design your day. Start with 1 year, 9 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, weeks, days. Design your days. And you do that by reflecting and being specific. Specialized knowledge. Everyone has a specialized knowledge. What is your specialized knowledge? If you are doing something like your product or service, question, what is your unique selling proposition? What makes you so special? Because why am I going to go to you? What is your unique selling proposition? What makes you so special? What is that? What is that? You need to have that identified to be a money magnet. My specialty is I know how to scale businesses and individuals. I'm really good at it. I did it myself. It works for me, works for my students. I know it'll work for you. I'm a people builder. I'm a business builder. I know how to get things done. I am, as my friends call me, the master entrepreneur. They call, you're a beast, buddy. And I said, yes, sir, I'm a beast. I love being a beast because I know that I can help others become better. They don't have to be a beast. Not everybody wants to be a beast, but to become better, you've got to have a specialized knowledge, tools, systems. That's where I come in. 25 best-selling books, leadership, sales, meetings, time management, goal setting, organization, etc. You need to have the tools. Why? Because I put next to it systems. If you don't have the tools, when you get busy, your systems are going to clog up. Trust me. They will clog up, slow you down, and kill your profits. And we can't have that. And you got to learn to take action. And you know I'm an action taker. Whether it's working out, whether it's speaking, whether it's creating things, whether it's whatever it is, I love to take massive and immediate action. That is the difference between the average and the great. And we're talking about becoming a money magnet. So the key is you got to be ready to commit to experience massive growth. You got to be ready to commit and expect to win. You got to expect to win. Most people are ready to commit, but they don't know. They don't have the intent of expecting to win. I want you all to expect to win. All of you expect to win, and expect to win in every category of your life, right? Don't think that I just think about money. My 4 categories. Number 1 is spirituality, right? Whatever you do, give it 100%. Number 2, health. To get rich and sick is stupid. I work on staying fit and eating right because I see a lot of friends that are billionaires that are way out of shape and don't take care of themselves, and they can't now enjoy all the fruits of their labor, and they can't enjoy their families. Number 3, happy. Guys, no one's happy all the time. You want to be happy at least 51% of the day. That's what Zig Ziglar taught me. He said, Omar, you want to be happy 51% of the day, right? And he'd crack me up when we get on shuttles or anything. And like someone, he'd say, he was always very friendly. I don't know if you ever got to meet him or see him, but he was a very nice man, a real gentleman. And we'd get in a shuttle and people would say, and he'd say, hi, good afternoon. And they would even look at him. No one would even talk to him. And he'd look at me, he goes, who licked the candy off of their Tootsie Roll? So he was the best. I miss him. So to experience massive growth, got to expect to win. Next, you got to be ready to commit. Again, Zig Ziglar used to say, you got to be, do, to have. You can't have to have. Got to become, got to do it to have it. To go to the next level, you got to be alert. There are wonderful opportunities going on right now around you that you're missing out on. One of the things I learned from my mentors is be open. And he said, get rid of the fetters from your mind. That's the thing that's holding you back, the 6 inches between your ears, the things that are holding you back. Get rid of those. Be open. Become a bigger container. Remember, God won't give you more than you can handle. If you're a small container, when you make that much money or business, your business will not grow. Your goal, and I can't do it on the screen, is to become a huge container. The bigger the container, the more you can handle business-wise, the more money you make, the more abundance you have, the bigger of a money magnet you become, right? So, next, the secrets to assessing greatness. The secrets to assessing greatness. I've mastered this by going through the mistakes, the hard knocks, and I'm telling you, I've been challenged to overcome all of these things, and that's why I want to lay it out for you guys, because as a coach, mentor, and speaker, I want you guys to get there quicker, right? So watch. The first thing you need is a foundation. If you don't have a strong foundation, it's hard to build on your foundation. So that's a whole nother seminar, but I'm just going to cover the highlights of this. The foundation. Next, you have to have a strong mission. My mission is to help each and every one of you achieve greatness, right? So that's my mission. What is your mission? I don't care if you're a beginner or you have 100 people working for you or 1,000 people working for you. You have to have a mission, because if you don't have a mission, your people and yourself don't see the vision. You got to have that vision. So the foundation, the mission, the vision, there's a big difference between a mission and a vision. A mission is what you are as a company. A vision is where you want to go. Does that make sense? Big difference. Now, structure. Oh, that's my thing. I'm a structure person. I like things to be structured out so we can build. How do you go from 0 to 600 clubs? Structure. Got to have structure. How do you go from 0 to 28 clubs? Structure. Whatever it is you're doing, how do you go from one business to multiple business? How do you go from, hey, online, how do you go, like, I'll never forget when Jeff Bezos called my office, and he was just starting out in 2001. And he called up, and my assistant said, I had an office then with staff. And Elizabeth says, hey, Omar, there's a guy named Jeff Bezos on the phone. And I said, okay, put him on. Hey, how are you? Hey, this is Jeff Bezos. I noticed you're #1 in Nightingale Conan, which at that time was CDs, right? Before that was cassettes. It was Brian Tracy, myself, Bob Proctor, Zig Ziglar. And he said, you're now #1 at Nightingale Conan, because I became friends with Vic Conan, right? And so I said, yes. He says, what I'd like to do is I'd like to take all of your books that you're creating. I then only had like 5 books, and I'd like to put them on my platform and sell your books on my platform. Would that be okay? I'm like, what, are you kidding? Yes. When I hung up the phone, I looked at my staff. I go, that guy, he's so nice. He's never going to make it. And why? Because I assumed, again, don't assume, that he was only going to sell books. I didn't know his vision. His vision was to have every product on earth go through his platform, but he had to start somewhere. So he started with books. So guess what? What if he didn't have the structure put together right now that he does? Would he be able to have Amazon? And the answer is no, because he created the structure by starting with books and building and building and building. And then it went crazy. Next, got to focus. I tell people, got to have focus. If you ever go to a track, I've only been a horse track about 5 times, but I noticed that the horses, some of them need blinders, and that's because they get distracted, right? So if you're that person, the more distracted you get, the stronger blinders you need to focus. And how do you do that? Block your times, block your activity, stay focused on the tasks that you need to do every day. Daily activity equals action. Action is a search engine of success. So you need to have that blinders. Next, committed. You know, I am so committed to what I'm doing right now. I feel that this is a great time. I'm working with some great people in some great mentoring programs. I'm working with some great people on their companies and mentoring. Some of you are on, in fact, 3 of you are on this call right now that I'm working with on your companies and mentoring you. And I am really committed to you. I'm committed to what we're doing. I'm committed to building you, and I'm committed to building your company. And also, for those of you that want an exit strategy, I'm committed to having an exit strategy, because it's always nice to have an exit strategy if you're ready to go. So be committed, be committed. And next, discipline and mentoring. Everyone needs it. I would not be where I am without my mentors, and all of you need it, and I am here for you. So let's get into it. Those are the 7. Here's how I became rich. You've seen this before, but I wanted to recover it. I wanted to cover it again. How did I become rich? Creating wealth in 3 to 5 years. I can teach anyone now. It took me a little longer. It took me 9, but I can teach anyone to do it in 3 to 5 years. Anyone. But I'm going to tell you right now what I tell my children. Number 1, find something you love. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to do it because it's going to feel like work. Number 2, find something that will give you the lifestyle you want, right? So make sure that you're doing something. For instance, I tell people I worked with AirTouch paging in 2001 to 2005. If that guy wouldn't have sold in 2005 for $200 million, like he did, he told me he had a plan. Said, Omar, he made me fly to Dallas and Sacramento every month and do a 2-day sales boot camp. Same one to the same people and the ones he brought in. And he sold out in 2005, became a chef, and he has a restaurant somewhere in Arizona. So he said to me, I have an exit strategy. So you got to have the right vehicle, guys. So find something you love, find the right vehicle to support you. And if it's the wrong vehicle, get out and find something else. And number 3, it's got to be something that is a unique selling proposition, something that makes you, that you're special. Because if it's not special, people will try to take your idea and copy it, right? So next, recurring income. Do the work once, get paid again and again and again. It could be real estate. It could be network marketing. It could be a recurring business. It could be, like for me, the memberships, automatic debit system every month, whatever it is, rent, whatever it is, you need recurring income. It could be a product on the internet, right? Like you're coaching or mentoring or something you're selling that recurs. Like I have a friend of mine, he's in the Home Shopping Network in QVC. And when years ago, when I owned my health clubs, I had a vitamin company. And I had it in all my clubs because I thought, why should I give all these people my money for instead of having my own? So I put my own label in my clubs, and the clubs did really well with the vitamins. I had different packets and things like that, packet 1, packet 2, packet 3, and I had my people selling it, and they'd make money off it. Well, this gentleman's name is Andrew Lessman, and he owned Beverly Hills Vitamins. Well, he went to QVC Home Shopping Network, and he walked in with all these vitamins, and he said, look, I've got this great idea. And he went on, and after the first show, they said, you know what? Thank you, Andrew, but it's not going to work because, you know, you sold vitamins or low ticket items. They're not going to work. He said, just give me a chance. Give me a chance. Give me 6 months. I'll be your #1 producer. Guess what? Within 6 months, he was their #1 producer. Why? Auto ship, auto ship, auto ship, auto ship. So he was able to, he's #1 at QVC and Home Shopping Network today. And he's been there now for 7 years. So, and I got to know him when he was just starting out, when he owned the Beverly Hills Vitamins, which I white labeled with my own name. Next, equity, own businesses, real estate, investments, and assets. There's a lot of men and women right now that are getting to a point in their life where they would like to let go of their business. I know I'm working with 2 students right now that are buying other businesses in their same category. And I also have one gentleman that owns a pool company that I'm mentoring that's now buying roofing companies. And what happens is you've got men and women that are at a certain age that either, number 1, they don't want to put in 100% but would like to stay on. Number 2, they see their kids and they don't like what they see. That's one guy. And so he's gonna sell before they end up choking each other. And then number 3, he just wants to cash out. So whatever it is, own businesses, real estate's great right now. Not single family homes, but commercial real estate, which, I have the courses on, and I teach it. Investments, be careful, and assets, we'll talk about that. Next, appreciation, grow your assets over time. You need to grow your assets over time. Once we get going, let things grow, right? And then leverage, profit from other people's times, efforts, and money. And you've heard me say this before, so I'll just go quick. Other people's time, multiplying other people's time. Look, you need to find out where you can find people that are doing things you don't want to do. Like, I don't do the internet. I created this PowerPoint myself with, my son. And then, I have, of course, other people like Danny and David Letterman and a bunch of other great people. And however, this one, I with my son, we went back and forth and just put this together. Now, why do I do that? You probably say, why do you have your son do this? I do this so my son, he's been doing my PowerPoints with me for the last 5 years. Guess what he's doing when he's writing, helping me with the PowerPoints? He's learning spaced repetition. It's going in his head and he doesn't even know it. And I've done it. I've created a little mini me. And now he's in wealth management, junior year at University of Florida, Dean's List every year, running 2 companies right now at the age of 20. Amazing. Next, other people's money. Other people's money, right? Other people's money. If you don't have money, other people have money. If you cut the right partnership, you are able to make sure that you can build faster. Next, other people's context. I love this one. Like everyone here should be part of any kind of groups that you can get, like mine or masterminds or anything like that, and that kind of thing. And of course, understanding how to get to the next level. So this is something that I teach in my 2-day boot camp, whether it's success or sales, which I'd like to do one for you guys this fall. I'm going to do one probably November, 2-day boot camp, and I'll cover all this. But there are steps to the learning process, and I think you should go over it with me. Number 1, impact. Hearing, writing, reading, acting out, and saying the materials. That's what we're doing today, right? So when you get off, you're going to act out and do these materials that we're talking about and hopefully apply them. Number 2, repetition, the mother of learning, the father of skill. Notice I put perfect practice. You can practice, but you can practice wrong. I used to go crazy at the gym. I'd go in there and I'd see these guys and they'd put all these, I had this pull down machine that had like a bucket, and they'd put weights on it with a cable. And I'd see these guys and they put all these weights on there, and they'd be like bringing it awkward and angled, and their technique was awful. I'm like, you're going to hurt yourself. So I'd go up there and tell them, you're going to hurt yourself. They go, no, man, y'all. Guess what? They would pull a back muscle because they're going uneven. So it's not practice. It's perfect practice. Whatever you're doing, if it's not working, change it. Change it. I tell people, people come to me and say, oh, I heard you were a personal trainer when you were younger. I was very good at it. I really was. I trained Tom Selleck, Gregory Harrison, Abdul Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Jerry West, just to name a few. And, I became really good at it. And I tell people say, well, what should I look for? I said, when you want a personal trainer, look at that man or woman's body. And if you want to look like them, that's your guy. That's your person. That's who you go with. So it's perfect practice. Rehearse it. Don't get complacent on rehearsing. My mentors made me memorize over 200 closes. Now, if you don't do the first steps right, you're not going to memorize. You're not going to close them at the end. So I was a machine. I could go like right now, if I had time, I'd take you through like 12 closes back to back in sequence. And you wouldn't even know I was doing it because it's so natural. So the key is, if you master what I teach you, it will become, well, my students that are been with me since 2005, they feel like they have an unfair advantage on people because they know what they're going to say before, whether they're buying a lamp, a car, a house, a business, whatever it is, that's what they say. Next, utilization. Consciously make yourself use the materials. I want you to think about, you guys have the audios. Please go to Teachable, use them. If you got the downloadable, download it, use it, please. Make yourself listen to me at least. And of course, listen to other people, of course, like, Tony Robbins and Earl Nightingale and Brian Tracy and Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Dennis Whaley and Jay Abraham and whatever you want to do, but listen to motivational materials at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's all, 5 days a week. All right, next, internalization. When Omar's techniques become a natural part of me, putting me in a success zone. When you're in a success zone, you'd feel different. You feel energized. You feel vibrant. You feel like you've never felt before because you know where you're going, you own it, and you know the direction that you want to go and how you're going to get there. And that's what I want for all of you. And then, of course, reinforcement. Continuous and training creates consistent, constant, never-ending improvement. You know, I did 10 events for Tony Robbins when he had results, the company results. I did 10 events. And every time I'd get up there, I hear him saying, continuous and never-ending improvement, continuous and never-ending improvement, continuous and never-ending improvement. Obviously, it works. He's the guy. Everybody wants to be like Tony, right? So it works. All right, so that's the 5 steps to mastering success. Next, here are the steps. To be a money magnet, you must master my program, Investigative Selling, and understand the sales mastery. Sales mastery is so important because, see, I hear people and they think they're good. They're good, but they could be great. And what it is, they get complacent because they're making money. But they don't realize that if you just fine tune it, like Brian Tracy taught me, keep fine tuning everything every day. So he always said, Omar, come better every day, come better every day, come better every day, better every day. That's what Brian taught me since I was 19 years old. He said, you know, tweak it. So the first thing I want you to do every day when you wake up with a plan, pre-plan, prepare, and do your homework. If you're going to meet with a client, make sure you know everything about that client for your product or service. Go on their website, Google them, check them out. Make sure you know every detail about that person's company, about their personal, about their, you can learn a lot about their community, about what they're involved in. Like I trained a gentleman here and I went and met with him and I said to him, hey, I noticed you're really involved with the Red Cross. He says, how'd you know that? I said, well, it's my job as a PPS, a professional problem solver, to know everything about you when I meet with you. He says, sign me up. I'm in. He says, that's all. I never had anybody check everything out about me. I said, and about your company. Pop, 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 pop. He was like, wow. So pre-plan, prepare, do your homework. Remember, I always tell you, at the end of your day, write down the 10 most important things you must do the next day. I normally have a lot more. I could show you right now, I have 18 for today. Pre-plan, prepare, and do your homework. Then when you wake up, it's right there in front of you. You're ready to go. Stay focused, block times, activities. Next, turn on, get fired up. Before you get on a Zoom, before you get on a phone call, no matter what, get fired up. Turn on, get fired up. It's funny. I've done probably 12 events in August, 12. And I used to do like maybe 3. And that's because I chose to. However, I wanted to get busy and I love the people I was working for and with. And, I had to go out at night and go out and meet the heads of the company. And they want to have a couple of drinks before we went to the party for the managers or coaches and the other VPs and presidents. So I'd meet with them and they'd have a couple of drinks and go, would you like a drink? I'm like, you know what? I'll just have water. Oh, why? Well, because I gotta maintain. So I gotta speak 2 days in a row. And I'm so then that night, they're all like drinking and we're in a very loud place. And it was fun, but I didn't talk much, right? Because I gotta save my voice because I'm the keynote tomorrow and I'm the keynote the next day. So, and I didn't drink much. I had 2 drinks. I watered them down and made sure they're watered down. So I went home and rested my voice, even though I was talking. Right? But why? People don't care what Omar Periu is like the next day when he gets on stage. They're going to judge you. They're going to judge your energy, what you say, if you're on, what you're wearing, they'll judge what you're wearing, whatever it is. So you got to realize, get turned on, whether you're on a Zoom, face-to-face, or doing a presentation. Make sure you're turned on. Next, make contact and get their attention. Make sure you make contact and get their attention. You got to make contact. Remember, I told you, people make a decision on you within 15 seconds. So make sure you read body language, gestures and smiles, movements, your tone of voice, volume, rate of speech, all of that. Next, connect and become their best friend. When you meet someone, imagine they're your best friend. It lowers the fear on them. I told you before, when two people meet, the person that has the most congruency, the most passion will take over the conversation by asking questions. Next, create massive interest. Remember my little saying, until you create interest, you are nothing but an interruption. Until you create interest, you are nothing but an interruption. When you're selling someone your products or services, or yourself, your products or services, you are nothing but an interruption. That's a whole other seminar. Next, qualify, probe for problem, and magnify. Remember, your goal is to find the hurts. The hurts is the problem. It's called the pain-pleasure principle. You want to find where it hurts, open up the wound, and then your product or service fulfills the need. Does that make sense? Again, I'm going to do an event for you guys just on these 10 things. Next, create conviction and test close. How do you do that? By having big claims that are real. From your benefits, point out your benefits, features, point out your features, give tons of reasons and why your product or service or you are the solution. Again, what makes you so special? What's your unique selling proposition? Next, make it real and assume the sale. You know, whenever I go anywhere, some of you have seen me speak, I walk in, I know I'm going to outsell everybody in that place. And all of you have seen me speak, and am I wrong? I outsell everybody 3-to-1. When I was working with my mentor, Tom Hopkins, I sold his $3,000 video system, and I would outsell him 3-to-1 on his own stuff. You know why? I really believe in what I'm doing, and I have conviction. I use test closes, which is a whole art that I can teach you guys, you know, embedded commands, test closes, NLP, all this stuff. And then I make it real, and I assume that they own it. I already feel when I walk in that they're already buying it. Every room I walk into, I imagine that so many people are buying my products or services or what I'm doing, okay? Next, convert objections into commitments. People look at objections and they go against them. Don't do that. Objections are good. Objections are good. A no is a maybe and a maybe is a yes. Remember, objections are good. If you're not getting objections, they're not interested. You know, I love it when I work with different companies and I'll see someone, if I get a large account, like a 7-figure account, I'll do a drive with some of the sales top producers. And I go, whether it's insurance or real estate or a product, and I go with them and then they don't make the sale. I go, well, you didn't create any interest. Number one, you didn't get them engaged and compelled, enrolled, and you had no objections. So that means they're not interested or they can't afford it. So there's only 2 reasons they're not going to object is they're not interested or they can't afford it. That's it. And then number 10, close. Make it easy to create a future. When you close people, make it digestible. And that's, like I said, I'll do a Zoom for you guys on all this. All right. Next, there are 7 laws of influence and persuasion to become a money magnet. 7 laws. 7 laws. The first one is the law of reciprocity. Now, the law of reciprocity is if I give you something, you want to give it back. That's very simple. You've heard of it before, right? Like a lot of people give gifts after they make a sale or things like that, right? However, I think the most valuable law of reciprocity is your time. Your time. If I give you or you give me your time and I really show sincere caring for what you're doing, I'm going to really add value to your life, your product, your services. And that's the law of reciprocity. Number 2, liking. People won't buy unless they like you and trust you. So you got to have people like you. So simple things, look the part. Look the part. If you're a doctor, look the part. If you're a salesperson, look the part. Like, for instance, if I speak in a corporation, like I did the last 2 weeks, I spoke all corporations, T-Mobile, and of course I spoke at some of the Unlimited Real Estate in Dallas and things like that. Wonderful, wonderful people I met. And I wore a tie for T-Mobile. I wore a tie for the one real estate course. But for the other ones, I wear a black shirt with my jacket, like you see on my website. And like this week, I'm working at a mastermind. I'm helping, I don't call it working, I'm loving at a mastermind with some wonderful people. And I'll be wearing, just a shirt and a jacket with jeans. Now, I would not wear that at T-Mobile because they wouldn't like that. They want me to be decked out. So what I'm trying to say is know your audience, dress the part, dress the part. Next, commitment. Commitment is getting people to commit. How do you do that, Omar? By having them nod their head, by having them say yes, by having them move their hands, by having them put their hand up. Whatever you do, get them committed. By having them sign some paperwork, whatever it takes. Social proof. All of you should have testimonials. Everybody should have testimonials. Try to and use your best testimonials. And how do you get testimonials, guys? I write my own. I write it and give it to them and say, if you agree with what I said, please just endorse it and give me your okay. Now, if they'll do it, great. But a lot of people are very busy. They don't have time and they don't even know what you want to put in there. So a lot of times when you're doing testimonials, make them flexible so people see different things, different parts of your products and services, and write your own, give it to them. Say, if you agree with the things that are there or you want to make some adjustments, I'd be happy to do that. That's what I do, right? Like, I'll give you a for instance. I have 25 best-selling books. I have Zig Ziglar did his last forward in his life. He only did 4. Brian Tracy did 2 forwards for me in quotes. John Maxwell, Mark Victor Hansen, Tom Hopkins, you name it. So how did I get those? Kevin Harrington. Well, I wrote them up, send it to them and say, here's a few chapters of the book. If you like what I said, go with it or clean it up. And most of them clean it up. They just put it in their own spin, right? So that's what you do. Next, authority. You're the authority. I tell everybody, be a PPS, a professional problem solver. You must be the authority in your industry. Be the authority. Anything that's the problem, you can fix it. And if you can't, then you find someone that will. Always be the authority and be the PPS. Next, scarcity. Law of scarcity. Scarcity is, look, I know you need to think it over. However, we only have a few of these in production. So if you really want it, I suggest you commit to it today. And that's a whole thing I can teach you. I'll do a whole thing for you guys on all this stuff. Contrast, law of contrast, starting high and going lower. That's it. That easy. Law of contrast, building value, and then lowering the price. Okay. So creating a sales funnel. I've showed you this before. It's very important that your sales funnel is always full. Now I can only fit these 3, but social media is in there, branding, referrals is there, telephone, face-to-face. But if I could, I'd put every way that you can fill the funnel in this funnel. Why? Because when you go to the sales process, if you don't have structure, foundation, and systems, the funnel's going to get clogged up. Okay? So the key is to increase your activity now. Increase your activity now. How do you do that, Omar? Well, sales achievers increase their self-image and maintain a positive attitude while handling rejection and failure. Why aren't people successful? Because they walk away from unpleasant activities. Unpleasant activities is doing the things you need to do to be successful, right? And you need to say to yourself, I'm going to own this and I'm going to make it happen because Omar told me that's how he got there. I got here because whenever I felt that something was unpleasant, I felt like I was on again, remember, do your due diligence. I felt like I was on the right path. If I'm having challenges with something that I feel is in the right path, if I can't, I must. If I can't, I must. I must if I can, right? So achievers feel forward and develop a no blocker attitude. Develop that no blocker attitude. You know how you put sun blocker on? Put no blocker on and put it all over. So when you talk to people, when they say no, it's just big deal. So what next, right? Move on, no blocker. So you must take the test to get the lesson. You will only learn all this training that I've given you if you go out and talk to people or get on the internet or do Zooms or do presentations or face-to-face telephone referrals, etc. So the characteristics of master achievers, they learn and use the attitudes towards failure. So I am someone that really believes in changing my mindset. My goal is to one day have one positive day. I've never had a positive day because, we get hit with 1,500 different influences, right? And so, it's just work on staying positive. Next, learn something from your failure. If you're learning something, it was a good experience. If you change something, it means that you learn something and you're going to change it and apply something different so you don't keep doing the same thing over and over again that's costing you bottom line profits. 3, practice. Make sure you practice and don't get complacent on everything that you want in success. Percentages. Learn and use a formula for handling rejection. For me I used to take, for every sale, I would look at how much I made. Let's say, I'm talking out loud now. If I made $125 for every membership I sold, and it took me 4 no's to get a yes, that means each no was costing me $25 to get that yes. So every time someone would say no to me, I would say, I'm closer to yes. Because for every 5 no's, every 4 no's, I got a yes. So I'd say, thanks for the 125. See? Or thanks for the 25 if it's an individual. Thanks for the 25. So learn that. All right? Now, get the competitive edge. First, you need a day of change. Got to say, I've had it. My day of change was the day I met my mentor, Tom Murphy. By the way, I've had more of those. You got to have a day of change. A day you say, you know what? I've had it, And by the way, the older I get, the better I get at this. I have a new club. I can't mention to you because I don't swear. But I have a thing, 3 words now. And my 3 words, if I don't like what I'm seeing or hearing, those are my 3 words. I can't say it, but you probably know what they are. So got to have a day of change. Work to learn, don't work for money. If you work to learn, how many men and women have you saw totally lose everything and come back even stronger than ever? Why? They worked to learn, they didn't work for money. Now, I recommend you don't do that too often. Next, purpose. Find your why. Just write that down. Find my why. Find my why. Why am I doing what I'm doing? So if you don't know, you're not going to be motivated. Next, create a strategic plan. Turn your dreams into a possible mission, right? And then create a plan that has strategic plan that says, hey, I'm going to be here in a month, I'm going to be here in 3 months, I'm going to be here in 6 months, I'm going to be here in a year. And you break it down. You go forward, like Stephen Covey said, begin with the end in mind. Lay it out and work your way back so the numbers make sense. Next, turn your dreams into goals. Like, I've said things that people can't believe that I've done. I'll never forget when my wife was alive. I tell her when I first started with my health clubs, I said, I'm going to be best friends with Zig Ziglar. And she goes, I know you met him at a seminar, Omar, but best friends? Yeah, Zig Ziglar is going to be like my grandpa. I never got to know. I never got to meet my grandparents, my grandfathers. And she goes, really? Okay, yeah. Guess who was calling during the holidays for the last 20 years before he passed? Zig Ziglar. And the kids, I would send him a big basket of chocolates. He loved chocolate till his wife Jean says, no more chocolate, fruit. So I'd send him the biggest baskets for his birthday, November 6th, the holidays, Christmas, New Year's, and every holiday I'd send him a big basket. And he says, we love the goodies, Omar, we love the goodies. So he'd call the house to say thank you. And he'd call, and he sent my kids a little booklet that said it was for them, like a kid's thing. It's called Notes from him. And he wrote it from Ziggy. So every time he'd call, they go, Daddy, Ziggy's on the phone. Ziggy's on the phone. They loved him. He was such a good man. Anyway, so massive action. I've told you guys, take action. If you guys will just do this money magnet program that I'm doing right now, I promise you, heart to heart, that you will increase activity, productivity, confidence, all the things that you want in one way or another. Next, stay focused. Guys, stuff happens. Stuff happens. Stuff happens. It could be, production, could be COVID, could be you get sick, could be someone, whatever it is, stuff is going to happen. So don't expect perfection. That's very important. Don't expect perfection. You won't be disappointed then. And of course, strong and flexible. Make sure you're maneuvering. I love going to going fast, and I love going to the track. So I go to the track. I have exotic cars. I love to go race cars like my Ferrari, my 720 McLaren, all these different things. But I love how these cars. I mean, I'm driving it, but I've had a lot of lessons. How these cars are able to maneuver into these, weave and in and out of these turns and take that kind of beating. And that's because you become strong and flexible. You got to be flexible and work on becoming better. The goal, if you're racing, is to bring down your track time. So if you're racing, you want to bring down your track time. The only way you do that is by every time you do it, you'll learn something from the track. So you want to become strong and flexible to learn something from what you're doing. And then, of course, condition yourself for success. It's very important that you condition your mind and body for success. And the way you do that is a whole other thing that I'll do for you guys. All right. So we've covered a lot of material to becoming a money magnet. And again, become the expert advisor, the PPS, and don't forget the master influence and persuasion. To be a money magnet, you have to do everything I've been talking about for the last hour and much, 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 much more. And I want you to realize it works for me. It works for my students. I know it'll work for you. If a Cuban immigrant can come from Cuba, not speaking English, with nothing but the clothes he's wearing, and not have a degree, why not you? You're smart, right? Why not now, starting today? Why not saying, I've had it, your day of change starts right now, right now. So I wanted to talk to you about a little personal commitment. I know like 3 of you are working with me one-on-one, except actually 4 of you. And I wanted to show you that I have one-on-one mentoring with me. If you're interested, I'm looking for a few spots, info@omarperiu.com, email there, and Danny will set up a time for you to call. It's not free, but I'll give you a free complimentary session with me to go over what your goals are and see if we're a good fit. And I can tell you right now that it is a good investment. And if you hear any top person, whether it's Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, you name it, all they said is the number one thing is mentoring and coaching. And by the way, you can have more than one coach and mentor because some coaches are better at other things than others. And you can do, some are better at, let's say you want a personal training mentor. So you want a nutritional mentor. You want a business mentor like myself. You want a branding mentor. Whatever it is, find the best mentors, put them together and create a dream team where the only way you can go is up and go to the next level. So